Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Keith with Dads for Life, and we are here again for our annual. No, it's not our annual. It's our weekly Straight Talk with Parents, and I am so excited about who we have with us tonight. Not only do we have a special guest who is very popular around the internet right now, but she is helping so many people. But she and I became friends back in March of this year, and I can't believe it's already been almost a year, Desiree. So, but I want to introduce my guest in just a moment. But let me go right down here to Queensland area of Australia. My dear friend from Australia, Miss Ariel Wheeler. Good evening, Ariel, my co-host.
Hi, Keith. Thank you for the introduction. I'm just so great to be here. It's amazing to be a part of Straight Talk with Parents because this is what it's all about. It's not only just teaching parents, but teaching them how to communicate and engage with their children, because our children are our next generation and the next generation and the forever generation. So this is what it is all about. So thank you for the introduction, Keith. I love you both, and our special guest.
So much, Ariel. And what do you do, Ariel, again?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm a visibility e-commerce coach, and what that means is I teach people how to connect, how to manifest, and how to really connect with their audience so that they are really tapping into their message. So that is what I'm all about.
Oh, well, after tonight's guest, you may have a story in you that you need to bring out. I'm going to introduce our special guest right now. We are here at Dads for Life. We do Straight Talk with Parents each and every Monday night, and we have not only the guests that come on, pop in, pop out. They hear about us on Periscope or Facebook Live, and they join in that way as well. We are live on Periscope, and I welcome all my Periscope visitors tonight. And we have a special guest. And if you're on Periscope, you know probably who this person is. I'm going to just welcome her with just a short bio, if I might. And her big smile is going to take over for us tonight. I am so excited about this. All right, so we have a guest tonight. It's our best-selling author, Desiree Lee. She is not only an author, but she's a publishing consultant, public speaker, philanthropist. It impacts on every individual and every audience that she possibly can. And the reason I love her so much is she impacts children, that's how she and I connect a little bit, because that's what I did in law enforcement all these years. She travels nationwide presenting powerful impact to audiences who feel they're facing limiting options. Have you ever felt a limiting option? I have, for sure. Desiree has been sharing this stage with honorable guests all throughout the nation and even the world. She has a little UK impact now she'll tell you about shortly. But I am so excited to present to you my dear friend from the Georgia area, Miss Desiree Lee, author of these two wonderful books that we're going to hear about. Welcome, Desiree.
Hey, Keith, thank you so much. I swear you did an awesome job with that intro. I was like, what, really? Thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, Desiree, we're here to impact parents, and my heart throb is to impact parents by helping parents to help their kids, and that's what I worked with all these years of my career, and impacted a lot of children. And you and I had an opportunity recently to impact about 75 kids. Yes, it's up to about 75, and there may be more in the near future. So I just want you to know that. But you have a wonderful, wonderful story. And I want to first just say, who is Desiree Lee? You just go from your heart, girl. I know you can do that.
Well, who am I? I am Desiree Lee. I am a mother. I'm also a friend to many, of course, a public speaker. I'm a teacher. That's what I look at myself as. It's just a teacher, just sharing my past experiences so nobody else has to bear that same pain that I may have went out of, or nobody else has to endure those limiting belief systems. Nobody has to go through it by themselves. And that's who I am, and that's what I stand for. So with that, I have tools and different resources in place, which is, of course, a book, of course, my classes, of course, my online teachings, and etc. However, how did I get to this part right here? And what I like to tell people, I don't look like what I've been through. When I share with you what I've been through, just briefly, you're like, no way, not you. Yes way. It was me. And I came from a two-parent home. Both of my parents, heavy in the church. My dad used to do the sound and audio. My mom was the choir director. And they train up a child the way you should go. When they're old, they won't depart from it. But even in the midst of that, Keith and Ariel, my parents got divorced when I was 10. And my parents did a good job. We're talking to parents here, right? And sometimes parents stay together for the kids and so forth. But my parents did a good job co-parenting us because we never saw them argue. We never saw them fight in front of us. And we always had to respect each parent. But there was still a void. There was still a void, and in that midst, I was trying to talk to my mom about things that I was going through from 10 years old, now a teenager, 15 years old, 16 years old. Started liking boys, Keith, and I wanted to ask my mom questions about that. And, and it was some things that I just didn't understand, getting picked on in school, being bullied, just wanting to fit in. And having a grades was great for my parents. They always get an education. You're not in school to make friends, And I'm like, but I want friends, I want to feel accepted. I want to feel whole. There was a boy, Keith, and my mom was this type of parent. And maybe somebody's watching right now and maybe they're this type of parent too. My mom was an authoritative parent. I'm your mom. I'm not your friend. And every time I went to her to try to reach out in my own little way, write a letter, go try to talk to her, she always felt as though I was trying to challenge her when in fact I didn't know it all. And I would just wanted to have answers. So like any inquisitive teenager, if mommy doesn't give it to me, daddy feels a little not comfortable talking to his daughter about this stuff, I went to my friends who knew nothing about nothing. And they gave me advice, and based on their advice of what cool was, based on their advice of what the type of guy I'm supposed to date, based on their advice of what's acceptable in a society, based on their advice of how to be in this type of group or, and so forth. 2 weeks after I graduated from high school, I found myself on the other side of the law and made a very careless decision and was soon charged with 11 counts of armed robbery and 5 counts of aggravated assault. And it wasn't until I was gone for 2 weeks that I was afraid to come home because my mom was the authoritative parent. She never abused me, never got spanked as when I was a little kid, but not as an adult. But I was just afraid on how do I come to my mom out here for these 2 weeks? How do I come back home? And I didn't know how because I was more afraid. But my mom on her end is like, where is my baby? I need my baby to come home, And it wasn't until I was arrested, she finally looked at me on the other side of the glass and said, I love you. And I just broke down, Keith, because that's all I wanted my mom to say. Not I'm your parent, but I love you. And it wasn't until I did the worst thing in the world that now we can talk about anything. And, I always tell parents now, to kind of fix that is, yes, be the parent. Yes, you have to have rules. Yes, you have to have boundaries. Yes. But be the friend second. Be the parent first, but be the friend second, because I'm sure my mom much rather me go to her for advice than go to my friends and make a careless decision.
Absolutely, Desiree. As a school resource officer for so many years, and you may or may not have had one of those in school you were able to talk to, but I talked to a lot of kids who had actual situations where their parents wouldn't talk to them about anything. And they would come to me, and they'd come to me for advice and usually for an excused tardy slip as well. But I was able to talk to them because of that, right? And they would just tell me, why do you listen to me? My parents won't listen to me sometimes. And I'm like, I can't really answer that. I just let you know that there's always somebody that will listen to you if you just seek it out. And I hope a lot of kids stay out of the situations you've been in. But, and I know that there's a lot to this. And Ariel, we may have to bring her back after the holidays. I'm telling you, she has got such a story. It's incredible. And there's not enough time to talk about all her books. But I do want to talk about 2, and one of them is because of the situations you got yourself into, this one came about, right, Desiree?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So tell us about this one a little bit, and just kind of, give us a little synopsis of it. I know it's a phenomenal. It's got cute pictures in there, by the way. when you were a little girl.
Yeah. Because it's the reason why is that I faced so many, let me say, roadblocks or limiting belief systems because of a decision I made at 17 years old, being the background check and the convicted felon rap sheet. And I said, you know what? If I messed up my life, maybe this book will save somebody else. And, my mom always told me there's 3 reasons why you go through things. Is either to prevent someone else from going in that mess, to encourage someone who might be in that, or to show someone that nothing is impossible. And that's what that book does. But I have photos in there because I wrote it on a level to where, on an 8th grade reading level. So I know some kids, they're visual learners. Some people are auditory learners, and so forth and so forth. So I wanted to make sure that if they don't retain the information or comprehend what I share with them on my prison experience, that at least some types of visuals will pop up if they find themselves in it. And I think that's what it is. That book says, if you find yourself out there for 2 weeks and have not been home, or if you find yourself in that dark place, this is the steps that I have taken to get out of that. Also in there, it shows the power of us believing in each other again. Because of one person, Keith, believed in me when I could not believe in myself. Because of one person just said, you know what, you can do this. And I will hold your hand in the process. Well, one person did not give up on me. I already gave up. But to have a stranger that I did not know to say, Desiree, you may have given up on yourself, sweetheart, but I'm not going to give up on you. And I think that's what, as parents, that we have to kind of translate through our actions, translate through our hugs, translate through just listening that, hey, son, hey, daughter, I know you're a little rebellious. I know you think I'm the worst parent in the world, but I'm going to translate that I have not given up on you. And I think that's what really hits home for someone, is that we may not agree, but I want you to know that I did not give up on you. And that's what that book is, the power of someone not giving up on the next person. And then also sharing on some inspirational pieces I picked up along the way. So I think it's a really good read for a parent to kind of see how a teenager, processed it, and then also to kind of open up communication, like, okay, son, let's have a safe word,
At Desiree, somebody just sent it to Periscope, said, listening is definitely the key. And, when my dad died, I was 11 years old. I had nobody mentoring me, it's a wonder I'm even alive, much less, went into the career I did. But then when my mom, she did talk to me, and she said, listen, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. I just have this feeling about, and those moms' premonitions I learned are very, very special, because she kept me alive in a couple of things, I think. So anyhow, I want to pass on down to my friend in Australia who may have some questions. We want to talk about your website a little bit. Let me reset. I am Dr. Keith with Dads for Life. My friend down in Australia is Ariel Wheeler. We're going to defer her in just a moment. But we have our special guest, Miss Desiree Lee, who is not only an author of many books, but she's also a very, very special person who's helping invest in a lot of people's lives. And I was so taken back by this book right here. My wife invested in about 75 children right now who are actually heading this way. And I saw tears when they started looking at your book, Desiree. And the director was so taken back by it himself that he wanted more and more. So because it is really, it's amazing story. It truly is amazing story what God could do if you just kind of listen every now and then. Ariel, you have something for Desiree?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, Desiree, I would love to know what is some of the things or the most common things that go through teenagers' minds?
Well, you know what? It's the fear of consequences. What happens if I get caught? And so one thing before they make a bad decision, they want to try to get out of the situation. Another thing is, what do others think of me, and how I will be perceived too as well. And will I be shamed for this, to take a risk, or will I be praised for this? So with that being said, Ariel, the question isn't how do we make them stop making mistakes. Okay, we all had our mistakes. Some people made some costly ones and they just haven't gotten caught. Okay, however, I think that what we need to equip our children with is what to do if you find yourself in that situation. For example, you know your parents told you don't smoke weed. All your friends is at the movies and everybody wants to try something because one of them wants to think that they're cool. If we can give our kids maybe 3 things to say to get out of it, then they'll feel less like they're a nerd or less bully, or they won't feel like they don't fit in because on how people look at them. Will they be accepted? For young girls, virginity is a big part that we definitely plant in our children's heads. However, they might like a boy. They went out on a date and now they feel a little pressure to do something that they don't want to do, right? Well, let's give our daughters some excuses to say, okay, honey, these are 3 things you're going to say to get out of it so that you can come home safe, and then we'll regroup on that. Also, too, another thing that goes through a kid's head, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I strong enough? And just like what a boy does to impress the girl, or a girl impress a boy, it's the same thing with parents. And I think if children, as much as our kids want us to be proud of them, I think deep down, we want our kids to be proud of us too, And I think if we can, if parents, open that up, it's not a sign of weakness or I'm not a parent anymore. It's more so, hey, look, I understand, but let's go an alternate route. So it's always, am I good enough? And so what Keith was saying at school, he was saying, hey, you are good enough. Here's some solutions. And they felt like when Keith saw those kids, they felt good enough. So when kids come to me, they feel powered. They feel empowered. And I think if we just remind them here and there, oh my gosh, you did such a good job. They're like, oh, mom, my 10-year-old does it all. Oh, mom. I was like, oh, because she ordered her food at the taco place. And I was like, good job. High five. She was like, mom. But deep down inside, she felt proud, like, I am good enough and I can do it, Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, my daughter isn't 10 years old yet, but she's definitely at that stage where she's climbing on all the furniture and learning what works and what doesn't work. So she's 2 years and 4 months. So I can so relate to that, because especially at that age where she's learning to explore, I feel and I absolutely believe that it's my job as a parent to be a role model. And if we can instill that, that high five, you did great, even though they feel like, oh my God, mom, that is just so embarrassing. Yeah. I can remember saying that to my mom too, right? It's like, oh, mom, stop that. You're just patting me too much. But deep down, you get that acceptance. So that is such a great reminder that even though that we blunder up or we make a mistake, or even if we do achieve something, we're still going to get praise in the right way that comes from love. So what are some of the ways, Desiree, that we can do that for our children so it doesn't come across as though we're being, a little bit over the top? Mm-hmm. So what's the suggestions that you have for that, especially for a new mom?
Well, especially for a new mom, I don't want you to forget that when our children were 2, 5, 6, even 7, as parents, we were more patient when they made a mistake. We were more patient to teach them something new. We were more patient to answer their questions. Mommy, why? Mommy, why? You're like, oh my gosh. But we think as a teenager or a young preteen that when they ask you why, we think that they're challenging us and they just want to understand. And it's like, what's the difference here? We think that they already know. So one thing to remind us as parents is, let's not assume that our children already know what to do and what not to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. The second thing, as far as praise, I think to have a day out of the week. So Sundays are me and my daughter's days where I cut the phone off and it's our days and it's just me and her. So I took it to where, as if I was married, some wives and husbands do this, they have date night. So once out of the week, this particular day, they're going on a date and dating. Again, I heard that's how you keep relationships or marriages to last, right? Well, it's the same thing with our children. Let's not stop getting to know them, because they don't like, that Disney show or SpongeBob anymore. Their color changed from red to purple, and let's show that. Let's get back to that. One last thing is implementing a safe word, meaning that when your child says this word, even your child at 2, it could be Care Bears, it could be something to where she feels comfortable. Start training her to feel comfortable that even when she takes your polish and painted all the doll's hair and you told her to stay out of that polish or gets the powder, that she feels comfortable and say, Mommy, Care Bears. That right there kind of triggers us, or to remind us, let's not pounce on her and say bad thing. That's a bad thing. Let's listen first and then discipline or parent after. Okay. And that right there, they have a sense of, when you say good job, they know you meant it, because even in those acts of them messing up, them making a mistake, okay, we took the time to listen. We pay attention. And so in the acts of praise, they know that we mean that, or that's mom, but they take it with meaning when it's meaningful. Because I know you got that mommy look, Ariel. I know you got that mommy look when you look at your baby like,
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And
we
so,
have that face. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to practice that face. You got to have that mommy look like, don't you get on that couch today.
Absolutely. I love it. I can just see myself just going all growly bad for sure. I have a great question here from one of our viewers, and I'll just read it out to you. What can you do to regain trust when you make a mistake and lose your nerve?
Oh, wow. It's, what I do with my little one is I'm not afraid to say, I'm sorry, or I messed up. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I messed up. Just recently I said, always wake her up, I homeschool her. And I'm like, you got to get up. I said, every morning, I have to yell your name at 10 times for you to get up. She said, Mommy, I don't hear you. I'm just sleeping. And so she says, well, Mommy, you get upset that I don't get up when you first asked me to wake up. And honestly, I don't hear you. And I said, you know what? I'm just stressed out because you got to get to class. You have to get up and you slept in too late. And you know what? I'm sorry. So now let's find a solution. So if you open it up and she says, so now she says, Mommy, let's set 3 alarms on her little alarm on her phone. And guess what? Now Mommy doesn't have to yell to wake her up because she has her 3 alarms that she'll hear it first time, second time, and she knows on that third one she has to get up and go to school. So be okay with saying, I'm sorry, I messed up, but let's not stay in this place of shame. What do you think I should do? And she said, well, maybe if we had, more than 1 alarm, then I can get up. And now she feels empowered, and we hug each other and we talk it out. Even she says, Mommy, we can talk it out, and I'm like, what are your tips, And so that's something for the viewer who is watching and asks that question is, hey, look, don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry, but don't stay there. Ask them, do they have any solutions to fix it? Mm-hmm. Especially if you keep repeating yourself, Yeah. Like, didn't I tell you to take that trash out? I gotta tell you every single time to take the trash out. I know many parents are like, yes, amen. Right. But
I
if
have a husband I have to remind every Sunday to take the trash out. So I'm definitely hearing you on that one.
right. So you say, you know what is the solution? You tell me, because I don't want to keep yelling at you. I don't want to have to raise my voice. I don't want to have to get so upset, you know. It's a reason, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. We just got to thank you for you, Desiree.
Oh.
She just said to say thank you, and that she had forgotten to ask for solutions.
Oh,
So I said thank you for
awesome.
answering. Amazing. All right, Keith, back to you, my sweetheart. Keith, you're on mute. I think he's forgotten he's on mute.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just kind of just listening there, okay? So I didn't take myself off the mute, or I muted myself. Anyway, here I am. Hi, guys. I knew that you would get some information out of that, because every time we have someone out here talking about as they grow older, I know every time you listen intently because you want to learn, Ariel, from these great moms that have been out there. But I know that your little one, if she was awake right now or near you, she would jump on Zoom. She loves to get in the camera, too. So.
Yes, she steals the show very muchly so. She's very charismatic. She is.
Well,
She's just camera.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just saying she loves the camera.
I want to kind of talk a little bit about what Desiree does now, because she's helped a lot of moms and a lot of parents help write their own story. If you will get her website, dleeinspires.com, ready, I'm going to share a screen now I want her to talk about for just a few moments. Desiree, as I mentioned, we may have to bring you back for 2. Our Periscope family's growing here. There's no questions coming in yet, but, you know, we just repurpose this as much as we can to try to help people understand about parenthood. But I want to talk about what you do as a career. You didn't realize you'd be doing this back when you were sitting back in jail, did you?
No, not at all. It was the last thing on my mind. And I'm just happy that it took me through that journey in order to help many people. We talk about Lee Inspires. So my whole goal, motto, mission of my company is to inspire. I can't change the world, but I want to spark the mind who does. And if I am trying to reach all these people, speaking engagements, my books and everything else, I'm like, how can I do it more faster? How can I reach more people? How can I get my story out there? How can I just inspire the world? And I realized through the lady with the mustard seed who believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. That was one lady, Keith. And since then, I was able, from that one person, help so many other people publish their books, share their stories, impact the world worldwide, reach more people. And I'm just so honored to be a part of that. So I said, well, if I help Keith reach 10,000 people, help Ariel reach 10,000 people, help, Glenda reach 10,000 people, help this person, that's 50,000 people we just touched. 50,000 people that can believe again. 50,000 people that don't have to feel like they're in a place by themselves. 50,000 parents, families that are being rebuilt. 50,000 young people that feel comfortable to go to their parents. And that's the whole premise of being a self-publishing consultant, because I can easily be in a publishing company, but that's not going to do you justice. I want to teach people how to fish, so not only they will live for a lifetime, their stories will live for a lifetime, but the people they touch and they teach will also live for a lifetime. And when we do that more for each other to teach people how to fish, instead of always handing them the fish, always handing them the prize, always handing them the answer, then once we do that for more people and others start seeing the results from helping so many people, it gives individuals like Ariel, you, Keith, the people who are watching, permission to do the same. It's okay to teach other people how to fish in order to impact the world for a greater good. And that's what I do. I help people publish their books in 24 hours or less. I help you go start to finish and just push you out there. It's a business. We got a job to do. And bottom line, Keith, whatever you start, finish it. And we can't be selfish about what we're going through anymore because it's not even for us.
That's right.
It's for the people concerned.
Desiree, I talk about the ripple effect when I teach and on Periscope a lot, and that's what you've done. You know, the lady helped you. You kind of refired me a little bit, and then I jumped on a mastermind group, kind of a worldwide thing, and that's where I met Ariel. And we kind of helped each other on that. But these two right here, this book right here, and by the way, some of the stuff you were saying earlier, I was wondering if you read that book right there, Daily Connections, because I used to do some of that stuff with the kids back in the school. That's why I wrote that one.
Right.
And then I wrote Officer Keith because of my work with elementary kids, and now it's in Spanish and so forth. So you did that with me, and now we're working on one with canine dogs. So you did that with me. So, you know. I mean, because just last March, I mean, you know, we were at an event together. I wasn't going to go to the event. I decided to go to the event. I immediately saw you. I saw you were a connector. I walked up to you. I'm not afraid of walking up to people and talking. And you were so lovely. I mean, it wasn't all about you. It's about everybody else. And that's the way I felt. So I knew that I could talk to you. And when we talked, you said, you know, you wrote one book, but why don't you think about another one? Well, that one came along, and then that one came along. I got 2 or 3 more on the books here I'm working on. So
Yes.
I think Ariel needs to start one myself real soon. So, all right, we're going to share this one right here, and then she'll go to your website. Briefly, I would like for you to just kind of navigate us through this one right here. What do you see?
Okay, 1 second.
Can you see it?
I did. Okay, yeah, now I see it. Absolutely.
So here this is one I just showed them right here. Take us through these real quick. I mean, where can people learn from a couple of these?
Wow, Keith, this is like, wow, I didn't even, you know, if you do a little bit at a time, you don't realize how far you can really go. But the first one, of course, that was my first book. The second book is Past the Mustard Seed, and the lady who gave me that mustard seed, she has written an entry inside of that book, and those are all the individuals from Crystal Stretching to Giovanna to also celebrity models too as well. They're sharing how they're passing the mustard seed too as well. So we have to remember that it's your faith that moves mountains, not your hands, to get out of the make it happen type attitude. So I understand everybody's not going to relate to my story, Keith. So
Right.
Those are 30 individual authors sharing their stories or journeys on how they overcame by faith in that book. My next book, Author Hacks, published on a shoestring budget with sponsorships and increase your sales. Those are all 3 series, and this really works. It's part of an Author Hack series, and they're short reads, and they get straight to the point. In my dark place, I read a lot of inspirational books, and I was just like, I'm reading these books, and nobody's telling me the answer. And so then I get frustrated because I felt like I was a dog chasing my tail, you know? And so I said, you know what? We're just going to get straight to the point. So they said, if you want to hide something, put it in a book. And so I have some really good secrets in those books. So they definitely want to get copies of those too as well. And those are some of the books. I also have it available in Spanish, also in French for those. And they're available in 12 countries. Also have a workbook. The Green Book is a prison prevention guide. It has a word search in there. It also has critical thinking in there for the young people to really process it. So I have a federal contract with the state of Georgia, the United States Attorney's office here, and they purchase bulks of my book with the workbook, and it becomes instructional material. So it's not just a story, it's an instructional material. What would you do different? Well, how would you talk to your mom? You know, how would you talk to your dad type of thing? Yeah, so those are all of my books and some photos too as well. And people can definitely connect with me on there also.
This is the event here. I met you in Las Vegas last March, and I knew you're doing a lot of public speaking and so forth. And so Desiree is there to help you. I'm going to stop sharing, and I would like for Ariel to take over and talk about your other website. Ariel?
Absolutely, I would love to. All right, let's share some screens. Okay, here we go. Let me know when you can see the screen and we will get started.
There she is.
Yay!
So navigate us through this one there, if you would, Desiree.
Okay, so when somebody visits my website, usually they're more interested on ways on how they can publish their book in 24 hours or less. They're like, no way, it has to take forever to do something like this. So they'll just come to my website and say, show me how. So you click on there. And once you guys come to my website, it will definitely load, and you'll see if you scroll down, Ariel, you'll see some of the available sessions that we do have. You get 7-day replay access of it. You definitely become an authority figure inside of your industry. And also you'll be able to connect with so many different people. The goal is that we want you to be successful. And so we have the ebook session, which is 24 hours or less. You're able to publish your book even while you write, and that's in pre-sales. So if you're a type of person that starts on a project and then life gets in the way and you start it again and you never finish and you want to accomplish that goal before the year is over, that is definitely where you want to start, because you start seeing the sales come in, you start seeing the accolades and the high fives and the excitement around your book that you're going to get finished. And usually you'll have at least about 90 days to complete that too as well. Excuse me. Also, we share with you on how to create a professional ebook cover where it can also translate into the print session. Here on the print session is it's a little bit unique, okay? And you get to operate kind of like your own publishing company. With that being said, you will have a physical copy in your hand of your book, and also it's a expanded distribution, which means your book will be made available on barnesandnobles.com. Also, schools, academic institutions, colleges, your local bookstore will now be able to publish your book from the self-publisher. Okay, it used to be we have to go to the distribution and so many things in between, but that's definitely, if you're looking to do a book tour and have it in your hand, that's definitely for you. Now with this, on a 2-day Publish Now bundle, if you do the ebook session, of course, it's $250. If you do the printed, it's $397. But if you take it together, which are 2 separate days, you save $200. So it's saying, hey, look, I want an ebook and a printed book. It'd be in your best interest financially rewarding if you took the 2-day bundle and to save a bang for your buck. And then you scroll down. And so also we have, if you want to become a featured author. So I know what I'm about to say. Some of you guys like, oh my gosh, really? Yes. You can autograph ebooks, okay? So we have it to where we move as one, become an author in business, which is a membership community, and you get loved by other authors, and we move as one. So we have each other's best interest in mind, and now you're not trying to sell your book by yourself, get promoted by yourself, and it's, doing everything trying to increase your sales by yourself. So if you want to get featured as a featured author on an online book signing, you can definitely do that too as well. And the last session that we have available, of course, is the Amazon marketing and promotion sessions for those who already have their books published and they just need a little boost here and there and different creative ways that doesn't acquire high expense. And so also we have the No Author Left Behind weekly calls where it's filled with announcements of what all the AIBs are doing, celebrations. We have Author of the Month, who we celebrate for the entire month, each month, and also inspiration and some bonus hacks every single week. And everybody definitely looks forward to that. And if you click on tour dates, we are now, Authors in Business are now, if you just, go back. Go to the top or the drop down at the tour, go to Atlanta. Yep, there you go. We're on a Microsoft book signing tour. We have authors in business who came through our sessions who were inside of our community, and we're going to 6 cities in a few weeks. On December 10th, we will be in Los Angeles, California, and also we will be in Houston, Texas in January, Austin, Texas in February, Miami, Charlotte, North Carolina too as well. And if you just want to give me a holler, if you need any help, you'll just simply click on contact us. And those are some of our AIBs there that you can definitely click on. And just, if you want to just have a few questions or unsure of which direction to go, just click on contact us and we will definitely assist you along your self-published journey. Because bottom line, there is someone who's depending on you to finish. There's someone that is depending on you to finish, and that's what's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Amazing. I'm absolutely just blown away. I could just let you take the whole floor and run with it.
Thank you guys so much. So much.
So Desiree, how can we actually get in contact with you? So where can we find you?
You can find me on any social media platform at D. Lee Inspires, on Instagram, Facebook, especially Periscope, and different things like that. If they feel more comfortable emailing me directly, my assistant, she definitely helps me out with that at dleeinspires@gmail.com. And also, again, they can go to my website at dleeinspires.com if they need any help there too as well. So, or they can just come to any city of Microsoft and come say hello and give me a hug. Come get this blonde girl a hug over here, right? Yes.
Well, Desiree, I think I'll just come to one and sit in the audience. So.
Absolutely. And Keith, you're doing an amazing job. And just like he said, Keith and Glenda, they are taking it by storm. I'm so proud of them. They just went to the UK, Ariel. And I'm like, no way, it was crazy. So I'm not sure if you knew, Keith, we had to show everybody in Atlanta your video with the other 2 AIBs too as well. And that's the power of not just publishing your books, but not being alone, because even him being in London, the 2 AIBs came out to say hi and give him a hug and embrace him as if they knew each other forever. So that was really awesome to see.
Yeah, when you showed that, I don't know why I got this influx of new members wanting to be friends with me on Facebook. I'm like, who are these people? And then I see, AIB. I mean, they must have been doing it right there. I was just like, they started growing. So, but anyway, well, Ariel, you got anything to wrap up here before we wrap up with Miss Desiree? You got one more question or anything for her? Or?
I don't have a question, but I do have a big, heartfelt thank you so much for joining us today. It's been absolutely a pleasure to get to know you and talk to you and help the community by being better parents.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It really means a lot. It really means a lot.
Absolutely, Desiree. We will try to get you back a little bit more as you continue to grow and touch people's lives. I wanted to reset everyone. I am Dr. Keith with Dads for Life, and my friend, co-host, and lovely friend down there in Australia is Miss Ariel Wheeler of iHerBrand.com. And then we have our special guest, Desiree Lee, who is an author and many other things. But we appreciate her being here, talking about parenting, talking about straight talk with parents, because that's what she did. She She's a mom who just loves her daughter so much, and also made her an author, right? Or she wanted to write a book, and you helped her, right? Is that right?
That's right. That's right. She is a children's author of 2 books.
Yeah,
So I'm really
awesome.
happy about that. Very proud of her.
That's awesome. So, Desiree, you've just got a lot that you went through in life to your story tonight, and then you also turn that around and you're changing people's lives, and that's what it's about. We go through life, and, I always say, you go through life helping on yourself, you go through life alone. Well, you won't be lonely, Miss Desiree, and neither will you, Miss Ariel, because you've helped a lot of people. So, but, well, folks, we are going to wrap up this session. We've gone a little overtime, but that's okay. Our Periscope family has grown tonight, and we'll be repurposing this recording as well. And until next time, we wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And I know we are going to come back. Are we here next week, Ariel? I can't remember. Did we take off next week? I think we did. Anyway,
No, I don't
we'll figure
remember
that one out.
that.
All right, so I know we're getting ready to the holidays, but we have a holiday schedule. But everyone, we appreciate you being here with us at Straight Talk with Parents with Dr. Keith Jowers with Dads for Life and Miss Ariel Wheeler from iHerBrand.com, and our special lovely guest tonight. We appreciate her so much. Her smile, look at her. She's just smiling all the time. Miss Desiree Lee at dleeinspires.com. You want to write your story. You want to learn how to write your story. Make sure you check out dleeinspires.com. Until next time, everyone, be blessed and go out and continue that ripple effect in your own life, reaching and teaching others. Until next time, we'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks, Ariel. Thanks, Desiree.
Bye. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.